It's
Welcome
challenge
back,
day.
challengers. It's your man's Darwin Darko. Back again with some more dope beats for you to step to. Like and subscribe while you're here. Get it out the way. Let's get these numbers up. Got another 5 projects on the docket today. Starting off with Of Mice and Men, rock project. Got Trina Coleman, who got some gripes about that project, but still really dope project. A project called Elbow. Ransom and Conductor. Conductor, we have a problem. Coming up in the third spot, the Uncomfortable Truth. Ransom, prolific work this year. Jessie J. Jessie J is back at it. She's been out of the game for a minute, but she's back with it with another one. And then we have Reveil with Sankofa running up the rear. But before we get started off in that, quick honorable mention: Nas and DJ Premier dropped a project, and so Nas is my number one my number one rapper, right? For me, like in terms of, we're talking about the art of rap, right? Is I think the greatest rapper on my list, on my faves. Um, you could talk about the list about objectively who the greatest rapper is. It would be Jay-Z. It would be Jay-Z. I think hands down, right? But my top is gonna be, in terms of rapping though, there's just the art of hip hop, because like um, when you talk about these lists with rappers and stuff, there's culture, there's reach, there's influence, all this other stuff. I'm just talking about just rapping. I'm gonna put Nas up there, right? So it would be like Nas for me, uh, Tupac, um, and the third spot would probably be Lupe, right? In terms of just like the art of rap. Now, I it's an obligation for me to listen to a Nas project if it's out there, or if it's maybe it's a feature or something like that. I'm gonna listen to it, right? I'm gonna search it out and find it. It just has to be done, right? He's got this project with Premiere. It's a dope project because of what it stands for, um, and reaching back to this, embrace of boom bap. Now, I don't have it featured today because I don't think it lives up to quite to that level. It doesn't live up to. It's weird because you can't really judge it the same way. It feels like a tribute project. Really, it feels like a tribute to hip hop. Feels like, honorable, giving people flowers, giving the genre flowers, giving people that contributed to the genre all their flowers. And he does that in spades because he just lists them on, make sure it's on the record. He's like, this is for the historical record of hip hop, you know, listing all the teams in New York, listing all the women rappers, which is dope. I saw 3D Nate got a shout out, which is a very much still underground. She pretty much has a big social media presence, and so that's what really getting her numbers up. And a lot of people aren't really tuned into it or tapped into her because of her rap. But Nas spots her apparently, and give her a shout out on that thing. So, and she made a post about it, so that's dope. Shouting out all the writers, the graffiti artists and stuff, shouting them out. And so it's a very New York centric project. He got Billy Joel sample clear on that thing, for the what is the third installment of what is it, New York State of Mind. So you love to see it. It's one that had to be done for the catalog. Appreciate that. I wouldn't put it in terms of like, oh, what are my favorite Nas projects. I wouldn't put it in the lineage of anything in the Magic series or King's Disease, right? But it felt like we needed a statesman to kind of give us something for the historical record, and reunite again with Premier. One DJ, the entire project, and they did their thing. Nas is spitting on there. I've heard better bars from him, but if you look at it in context, it's a dope project, along with all of the projects that Nas has been curating this year, with all the old heads that these projects coming out with all the old heads. I forgot what they call that series, Legend series, I believe it's called. So we had the Slick Rick project. We had a couple other ones. Was the KRS one under that one? I'm not sure if the KRS one was under that one, but go listen to it. It's a must listen if you're a hip hop head. It's probably not something for the casual, because there's a lot of like in-depth insight that he's like exploring on there, and There's a lot of old school scratching, man. There's some scratching on that thing, man. Primo did his thing. Love those beats. Bring it, and they wearing a crown of boom bap. Not to say that's all they're capable of, because of course the stuff that Nas did with shoot, who was I can't escapes my name right now. All right, Hit Boy. Okay. So Nas and Hit, putting those projects together. It doesn't necessarily flow in terms of giving you a revolution of sound or of the art, but it's a good listen. It's a long anticipated full collaboration by the two legends, and they both doing their legendary thing on both sides. They hadn't linked up since Illmatic. So shout out to them, shout out to Nas, and give it a listen, give it a spin. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Mice is Men, 9th studio project, another miracle. The band dropped it back in November. I'm just getting around to it through their Century Media Records, marking a new chapter in their career with a sound that's both expansive and deeply personal. Of Mice and Men have been grinding for over a decade now, building a reputation for blending heavy riffs with emotional lyrics. With another miracle, they're doing something a bit different, not just playing it safe, but really pushing their own boundaries. What's cool is that they didn't bring in an outside producer for this whole thing. They just did it themselves, right? And it sounds amazing. It sounds dope. Frontman Aaron Pauley did most of the heavy lifting for that. The band has been touring in big festivals, playing European and the UK legs through the end of this year and into early next year, 2026, showing that they're not just in the studio, but they're bringing this thing out into the world because it's a live experience. And you can hear several tracks on this thing that lean heavy into the live experience sound that you just can't wait to hear it coming out those speakers, and hearing the audience and the people moshing, just shouting it back at the stage there. Speaking of which, let's dive in a little bit into the production. First off, the album was, like I said, self-produced. Every member of Mice and Men had a hand in crafting the songs. Mostly the front man there, Aaron, who did the heavy lifting on the project. But it's balancing heavy and melodic tones. They really pushed the boundaries, blending crushing metallic metalcore intensity with atmospheric textures and clean, vulnerable vocals from Pauly. Cinematically, this thing it brings instrumental, orchestral motifs and elements. Think about the track like a waltz, which is the first one on the project. It has this sci-fi nightmare energy on this one song, Contact. Yeah, the production is grand. It's theatrical and not just a bunch of guitar riffs, which you welcome depending on the project. But for this one, they struck a careful balance, and it's dope. One of my favorite tracks, going back to this, is Waltz. It's a mood setter that blends intensity with emotion right out the gate. It's one of those songs that really grabs you from the start. Troubled Water comes up next on the playlist here. Super heavy riffs here. Lyrically, it's a powerful anthem about knowing when to walk away from toxic people. Some bridges are better left unbuilt. We said troubled water, so that's what bridge over troubled water. But how about not having a bridge with that person in the first place? So that's having some discernment right there. Safe and Sound and Hourglass keep that momentum balanced with melody and urgency. Flowers is a track that is a bit more reflective. This is going to be around the middle of the project here. It's a little bit more reflective. It has that anthemic rock arena style going for it, almost a love letter to the community themselves, their own fan base themselves. So this is something that definitely they're gonna want to pull out of the set list. What they're gonna want to put into the set list. Feed the flowers in their lives. It's a great emotional center. Another miracle. This is going to be the title track, and it's an absolute banger. built to play live with a massive, compelling energy that demands a crowd. My main takeaway from this thing is that it sits somewhere between introspective and powerhouse. It's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy, but it also has these genuine moments of vulnerability that feel just human. It's the kind of album that wakes you up literally and emotionally if you let it. You'll hear aggression, but you'll also hear heart. The best scenario for probably listening to this thing is maybe even you're in the gym, but if you're not in the gym, definitely the gotta be at a live show. Go check them out at a live show. This project is not just another entry into their catalog. It feels like a statement. The band is saying we're still here and we're gonna be doing it on our terms, from down from the production to the screaming at the bridge. You know, shout out to building bridges and and burning some down that just need to go away, getting them toxic that toxic energy out of your life. That alone, all of that alone, makes it worth the listen. It's powerful. It's intense music that helps you reflect on your own life experience and maybe, just maybe, find your own miracle. Today we are talking about something fresh, bold, and deeply soulful. Trina Coleman's album Elbow is just such a record. It's the sound of an artist growing, folding in every part of her life into something real and beautiful. Now, some of you might not have heard of Trina Coleman, and the streaming service is not making it easy. Not making it easy at all to find out. But she's been building towards this moment for years. This is her debut album. She didn't start as some big commercial pop star. This is jazz-minded music. This is poetry-minded music, trained and thoughtful, coming out of big creative spaces like her master's work, where she used poetry and original texts to explore identity and musical roots. In fact, excerpts from the project come from some of those in-person concerts that helps shapes the music that you'll find in Elbow and shaped from her poetry work. I love the way this album starts. Did you know that things change in the snow? It's such a beautiful intro to the thing, and that's just an introduction, and it just like it dies out. It's a 27-second introduction to what you're about to hear, and it starts with poetry, and she sings through poetry throughout. So here we are in late 2025, and Elbow lands in an era where music it's crowded, a lot of high energy stuff, pop music, the forefront, of course. But this project goes deeper. It doesn't shout, it invites. The result is something rich, reflective, and unexpectedly uplifting. That's precisely the point of a show like this, is to help you discover these off the beaten path artists and projects that are absolutely at least worth one listen. Like and subscribe if you want an album that's at least worth one listen, because you never know, you might just find your next favorite artist here on Challenge Day. Give a like and subscribe, share with your friends. The production on this thing is, again, the original lyrics are selected poems basically, and they have a jazz sensibility to them. So the music feels like a bridge between spoken word and melody. That's rare in today's scene. Live instrumentation brings in this warmth. We're talking strings, keys, and subtle percussion on tracks. It isn't just loops and electro sounds and synth pads. It breathes like a band in the room with you. There's emotional layering happening on this project. The mix emphasizes her vocals in context. It's not overpowering the instruments. It still gives the instruments their own space on this thing. She still, of course, the vocals matter the most because her voice is doing the heavy lifting on a lot of it, but it's mastered and mixed so beautifully. It gives it a live performance energy, even when you listen to it in headphones. One of my favorite tracks on here is the title track, Elbow, right? And in Elbow, this one it sets the tone. It's the first actual full track, right? And it's a 4 minutes and 40-second track. She's giving it time to breathe. The track after that, another 4 minute track. We got a 5 minute track on this thing. Given these things, it's only 10 tracks on this whole thing. It's a 20. How long is this? How long is this? Listen, this thing is 29 minutes, but she still gives it time to breathe, right? Enough for you to absorb the message that she's singing on this thing. But Elbow, dope track. It sets the tone. It's soulful. It's introspective. It's a little smoky. A lot thoughtful. It's heart. It's the heartbeat of the project. It's a storytelling track that feels like a conversation with the audience themselves, right? Like with you specifically. And then I gotta skip to Downstream. Downstream is just warm. It's hopeful. It's man, I gotta play that joint now. I love that track. Downstream. Yeah, this one is Downstream is warm, it's hopeful and satisfying, like the end of a productive day. Um, Elbow isn't about flashy. It's not about chart topping and big drops. It's about feel. It's the poetry, texture. It's the narrative that she's spinning through these 10 tracks, but in a melodic sound. So overall, I would say the main vibe of Elbow is that you don't just hear it. This is something you feel. The power of Trina Coleman's vision here, she combines her jazz roots with poetic honesty, and the result is an album that feels like an honest conversation with you, the listener. This is great for a chill session, maybe with friends. Lean into the love, deep lyrics and rich instrumentation. A solo reflection if you got to. Have a cup of coffee, late night thoughts maybe, and just like let it wash over you. Trina has delivered something profoundly positive and invigorating on this. It's a sonic experience that feels both familiar and entirely fresh. From the first beat to the last echo, you can tell this wasn't just made, it was crafted. Conductor, we have a problem. The lyrical assassin from Jersey has been on an absolute tear this year, dropping projects like some artists drop singles. We've already seen the final cut with Dave East and the reinvention with the legendary Premier, also doing it, rocked out with the Nas project. But this one with Conductor feels different. It's his fourth album of 2025. Just this year alone, four projects. They're not long projects, but they're dense, right? What do they say? Is the term is like is short but deep, right? Yo, Ransom has always been about elevating the craft, turning his keen observations of life, philosophy, and growth into raw bars. Conductor, former actual train conductor, I remind you, we talked about this a long time ago, one of my previous videos. Now he's a Grammy winning producer, right? He's a force of his own. Now he holds his own on this thing with this jagged, soulful, and fearless sound that blessed the tracks for everyone from, Drake to Cole to West Side Gun. In a recent interview, Ransom said that he doesn't make music to please everyone. And Conductor doesn't necessarily do that either. They make music to spark thought. They make music to have a conversation with the listener. And that's exactly what's happening on this project. Let's talk production, because this is one of Conductor's most shining moments. The beats build a universe that tend to be murky. It's atmospheric. It's a little bit minimal actually, but it leans heavy into some soul samples that helps bring the boom bap stage to the forefront that Ransom just like dances on, and just like any old primo project, you're gonna get that boom bap sound, right? Conductor drops these soul samples throughout the project, creating this introspective, slightly melancholic backdrop that matches Ransom's deep lyrics, like on Late Replies. This is Late Replies, the fifth track on this thing. I mean, we're talking beautiful and clean beats. The production is polished, sharp. It avoids the overused VHS filter that you can get when some of these producers are trying to make the boom bap sound vintage, and so they give you this like they'll put like a VHS low like a little crackling filter on the thing. But which can be cool sometimes. It can if they do it right, they don't overuse it. But this one is high fidelity soul without the crackling, and it still sounds rooted in the traditional boom bap ethos of the city, right? There's a diverse sonic environment that Conductor creates throughout this entire project. And this is intentional because it puts Ransom in a different musical environment that keeps the themes fresh with new excitement, ensuring that the tracks are dynamic and engaging from start to finish. Now, for the track highlights, off rip, clairvoyance, you just start there. First track on the project. It sets the tone with Ransom reflecting on vision, critique, legacy, backed by this eerie loop that sticks in your head. Boomaye, freaking dope one right there. Boomaye, you might recall that reference from Ali in the Ali movie, right? One of the liveliest moments on this project is inspired, of course, by the fighting spirit of Muhammad Ali. It's about shutting down noise and doubters, and Ransom flows with the biting confidence here. I go to war like I'm Sun Tzu. Your money don't talk as a mumble. I'm in Monaco, slamming dominoes, yelling Vamonos. Tell them adios. Nickname scales, if that fails, name holds weight in everybody of you. To hell with you meddling rappers. Breaking up Reggie and backwoods. I am a felon with tactics. Wearing some elegant fabrics. I love the way you said that thing because I really think there's a double thing going on there. He's like, I'm a felon with tactics, wearing some elegant fabrics. Although the track listing says we're in some elegant fabrics, I think he's also saying wearing some elegant fabrics. Love that double entendre play on words right there. Hell of a savage, hell of a savage. Do you know? Do you know favors? I'm moving the matrix. I'm pedaling backwards. Hella theatrics. Who is your favorite? I prove that he ain't. It's gon' telling me average. It's go telling me average. Telling me average. Tell him he tell him he average. Telling me average. Bro, that's so beautiful, Ransom. I love the way you did it. The track list says, it's go telling me average, but dude sound like he said tell him he average. Love the wordplay. Again, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Right? I tell him like Cassius. Boomaye. Boomaye. Right? Love the way that shit goes right there. Right? Late Replies is another dope track on this one. Again, this is the fifth track on the project. This one is this one is a little bit emotional. It talks about missing connections and personal priorities. The sparse beat lets his vulnerability breathe. Flowers and Tombstones is gonna be the seventh one on this joint. It's deep, it's haunting, it's thoughtful. It questions how society honors loss of a public persona. Imagine if you were able to see right after your funeral. So imagine, if you will, right after your funeral, boom, you're watching over your casket, you're watching yourself, you see yourself laying there, people at your joint crying or laughing, whatever they're doing, right? How many days after we pass that laughter is suitable? I would say, to answer that question, 0 days. Like, for my funeral, I want people laughing. I want people having a good time. I want people to be like, yo, he told this one joke, or he told this one story, or this one wild thing happened to that dude Darwin, right? Like, remember that time that Darwin did that, whatever, right? I know already. Venetia, my homegirl Venetia, Jamari. I don't know if Jamari remember this story. Shout out to them, but I know Venetia. At my funeral, Venetia's gonna tell that damn syrup story, and if you were there. You know what I mean? If you know, right? She gonna tell that damn syrup story. But that's what I want my funeral. Those kinds of stories. That laughter, right? Okay, so he goes on to say here, how many days after we pass that laughter is suitable? I tried the fact I tried the fact that the numerals, subtracting all of the few boo who all of the few how you say this? Okay. I tried the fact that the numerals, subtracting all of the few boo-hoos in his life was beautiful. Baby, what did they do to you? He says, right? You know the same old usual. Same old supplied by the whispers. I heard he was so I heard he was so musical. But did you know that I do music too? Imagine somebody at your funeral, right, with all the boo-hoos trying to peddle their mixtape, right? Hey, he did music. You know what I mean? There might be some music adjacent people here, people that might be in the industry here, right? Baby, what did they do to you? Okay, remove the auntie from down south that's delusional. He'll be back. I'm gonna dive in there with him, right? I'm gonna go back in there with him. That's delusional. And two together, and they'll forget you're disputable. But now that you know who is who, because you're watching from above, right? Now that you know who is who, I see it might be news to you that that love you had was a mutual. Woo! Look, you wasn't human too, but to the loon, your souls ascended right through the roof and and flew the coop. And now your body is ashes and crucibles. You knew the rules. I'm sorry to say that you've been reduced. Sorry to an Instagram post. You've been reduced. Sorry, you've been reduced. Sorry to an Instagram post and some content for them to use. You've been abused. By the way, on your at your own funeral, right? Shot man, freaking dope bars. Check out the whole thing. Like it's bars all over this thing, stories all of this thing sets a scene on this whole thing. The full track list runs only 8 songs. It's only 22 minutes of your time, but it's concise. There's no fillers on here. I usually would, hey, hands up. I would usually be the one complaining about these short track lists, but this thing is dense. Even in some of these short songs, he's giving you nothing but message and bars and a story if he has to. It's concise. It's all about impact on this thing. If I had to sum up the unforgettable truth in one word, I would say it's reflective. This isn't a party album. It's not a club a club playlist. What it is deep. It's sometimes intense. It is reflective on life's complications, expectations, and cultural sensitivity. It feels like a late night conversation with someone who's been around the block, seen a lot, and doesn't want to, sugarcoat anything. The unforgettable truth is that growth requires discomfort. Ransom challenges the listener and himself to confront those difficult subjects, from personal struggles to social issues, with raw honesty and a stoic mindset. Put this on with good headphones, maybe after you've unplugged for a bit, and the more you lock in, the more you'll catch on repeat plays. Jessie J's latest studio album, Don't Tease Me with a Good Time. This is her first full length LP in nearly 8 years. This record dropped on the 28th of November, following a long, winding journey of personal struggle and growth. Jessie J, yeah, the powerhouse behind hits like Price Tag, Living on the money, 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 name on the price tag. Where I want to make the world. That song there, and Bang Bang, Bang Bang, da, 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 Bang Bang, da, 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 da. You remember those tracks? It was ubiquitous, right? She's been through a lot, right, leading up to this thing. And back in June, just a few months ago, she revealed that she was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer and had to undergo 2 surgeries, leading to the cancellation of the rest of her U.S. tour, and she had to postpone her the UK leg, and the rest of the European shows, which was coming up in early 2026. Through all of this, she was working on this album for over 5 years, describing it as a layered collection encompassing grief to joy and life after the loss. This personal resilience makes her professional comeback even more powerful. All right, so let's get into the sound of this project. Let's get behind the lyrics. The album was recorded like over 5 years in LA, featuring a tight group of collaborators like Ryan Teeter, Jesse Boykins, Los Hendricks, Marty Morrow. What that means for your ears is that this is a mix of alt pop, R&B grooves, neo soul warmth, and electronic polish without feeling overproduced or fake. The beats, they breathe, the melodies hit. Jesse's voice sits right in the middle, powerful and honest. Feel It On Me is the first track on this thing. It's smooth. It's this opener that is bringing back the 90s, this R&B rhythm that instantly pulls you into the warmth of this record. Tapped out, roll my eyes in the morning, tired of the detox, tired of talking. I get up, I show up, day after day. Let's make love and listen to Sade. Sade. This year's been so much grieving. I just want to live for the ones who can feel me. I get up, I show up, day after day. Let's make love and listen to Sade. Stop reading me between the lines. No, there ain't no other guys. I'm just too grown to compromise. I want goosebumps and butterflies. See the sun. It's on the rise, and today is our surprise. Living My Best Life is another dope track. Living My Best Life comes up on this list towards the end. Living My Best Life, exactly what it sounds like. This is an upbeat anthem that feels like claiming joy after grief. The award goes to, this is the closing ballad on this thing. It reflects on legacy, loss, and growth with a simple piano instrumentation. See, I've been fighting my words, but I'm winning my worth. I'm good to lose. The award goes to you. Because you felt my pain, then you got in my way. It's true. I don't need you, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh. That felt good to say. See, I've been fighting my words, but I'm winning my worth. Yeah, I'm good to lose. The award goes to you. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Basically, is the message of that track there. Across these 16 tracks, the production never steals the show. The production chooses perfectly to complement the deeply personal lyrical content. The sound is intimate and almost as if she's singing directly to you across a small, dimly lit room. My main takeaway after listening to Don't Tease Me with the Good Time is that it is a brilliant display of artistic control and personal strength. Jessie J demonstrates that she doesn't need huge production budgets or massive pop hooks to deliver a compelling performance. Jessie didn't just make music with Don't Tease Me with a Good Time. She shared a piece of her journey. It's emotional, bold, and at times painfully honest. There's no filler here. Every song feels like it has something real to say. If you ever loved someone through good and the bad times, this record is put together and curated to meet you right where you are. For all of us who have had to let go of something we thought we'd never lose, this album feels like a tribute to that specific chapter. Reveil's new album, Sankofa, project dropped a few weeks ago and is already sparking serious buzz. This is his fourth full-length project, and it arrives after 3 years since his last LP, Learn to Swim. So let's kick things off with the artist himself. Reveil, Marcus Morton, is this incredibly talented young producer and rapper hailing from the DMV area. Shout out to DMV. Maryland in particular. This sheer ambition in his work is palpable. Now, the album itself, Sankofa, is a Twi word from Ghana, and it roughly translates to go back and get it. It's symbolized by a bird that has his head turned backwards and his feet faced forward. This is kind of meaning looking back at the past and learning from the past, or there's something, maybe a lesson that you should have learned from the past, that remember it, go back and get that lesson and bring it to you in the present. Uh, however you want to interpret that, but this thing is incredible. He's basically suggesting that you need to look to the past to inform the future. That ethos perfectly encapsulates the album's mature, introspective, and incredibly rich sound. Speaking of sound, this isn't your average rap record. Redveil, self-produced sankofa, but he expanded beyond the samples alone, inviting live instrumentation from piano to strings, bass, and more into the mix, all mixed together to give the whole project this warm, expansive sound that feels live and dynamic. Organic elements like live instrumentation give this thing this texture that you can feel. So he says in this joint, right? Especially in the quieter moments, the layering. I'm back up in Babylon. His vocals, in terms of his singing, has come a long way. Um, you, it's this kind of singing that isn't necessarily that the singing that can stand on its own, but it has this visceral sort of emotional connection, the way like Wyclef's voice sounds, where it's not about the perfection. Even Mary J. Blige, I would say, right? It's not about the perfection of hitting a particular note, but it's conveying a certain emotion in the delivery, and Marcus delivers it on this thing, all into the mix. It gives the whole project a warm, expansive sound that feels alive. It feels dynamic. A few production highlights you'll hear in the record as you listen. Organic elements like live instrumentation give the songs a texture you can feel, especially in the quieter moments. The layering of the samples is masterful. You're not just hearing a loop, you're hearing textures. You're hearing the ebb and flow, creating this warm, immersive sonic blanket. His use of jazz and soul. These grooves weave and bridge between classic hip hop roots and fresh modern vibes. The drum programming is incredibly sophisticated. It's understated, often laid back, but provides this necessary intricate groove that perfectly balances the smooth samples. It's got that head nod factor without being aggressive. The overall arrangement feels purposeful, intimate when it needs to be, but bold when it wants your full attention. A snapshot of the standout moments for this album for me starts off with Lone Star. This one features Carolyn Malachi. It's a soulful, emotive cut with strong vocal layers. History is another dope one. I know my mother's tongue real good, but that ain't in the world that I live. Just just the world that I always dream of. Speaking in code, got my mother's nose and my motherfucking feet up, and the roosters and the hens in my eardrum. I listen to them when I need to feel something in my soul. But I don't got much time for that all fades to black. And I open my eyes and I'm back up in Babylon. He said, I don't know. He said something like that. It freaking like it's a beautiful moment in his delivery there. My dystopian home, where I where I turned small to grown, without knowing a clue about the land I belong. We've been history from the start. We've been history from the start. I think it's something like that. We've been history from the start. I said we've been history We've been history, yo. Yeah, it's amazing. That's like we've been history from the start. The juxtaposition of that of the phrasing there, you love to see it. Brown Sugar, featuring Smino. Love Smino, one of the most underrated performers um, of this contemporary hip hop scene that for a long time. This song is warm, it's funky, and irresistibly catchy. Across the tracks, you'll hear him. This Marcus, you'll hear him alternate between introspective lyricism and rich sonic landscapes, providing him with a chance to go beyond rapping. He's composing on this thing. So the overall verdict is that the vibes of Sankofa is one of mature reflection, defiant hope, and a deep appreciation of musical history. It's soulful, it's conscious, and it carries itself with a proud sense of self awareness. And the proudness is profound, it's not arrogant. It's reflective and bold, rooted in self exploration. The title Sankofa itself plays right into the musical DNA. He is learning from his previous projects, the highs and the lows, what he did right, what he maybe could have improved on, and he is digging into this heritage, his own heritage. Even looking at the album cover, you see his, I don't know, there's an older lady there. I venture to say maybe that's his grandmother, learning from the past and bring it into the future, and being able to elevate what he's got going on all the way into the future. It's growth while pushing his craft forward. Light yourself a candle, press play, don't shuffle on this one. Put it on while you're cooking, maybe. But it needs multiple listens. Maybe you're walking up the block, maybe you're walking your dog. You're gonna take your dog for an extra long walk. Get it all out, right? Maybe if you're driving somewhere, right, and you need 41 minutes to get there. It's a 41-minute project, 12 total tracks. You need some time to get there. This is a listen end to end kind of album that rewards your full attention.